Yo, what is going on, guys? And today I have a new piece for y'all, if you couldn't already tell from the title in the description. I have a 2B piece that I've been working on for the last few days. I've hinted at this in a few videos, but voila, I have finally completed it, at least hopefully. This one has taken me just a little bit longer than usual, as I've said before, and I don't want to sound like I complain or anything like that, but I work in the mornings now, and usually I have to do a lot of other things in life, so it's harder for me to work on art every single day. But I do. It's just I don't get as much time as I want. I only get an hour or so a day, or maybe even half an hour, when I'd like to be like working on this like 2+ hours a day at least. If I could, I'd work on art all day, but unfortunately that's not how she goes. But I wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you to everyone who has subscribed, liked, commented, disliked, whatever, giving me feedback. Honestly, I really appreciate all of you. If you haven't seen, I just recently made a thank you for 50 subs. We actually just passed that and hit 53. So we are booming. We are doing great. And honestly, thank you guys so much for that. And also, I read every single comment. So if you have something to say, I will read it. I may not reply. That's not because I really hated what you said or I was really upset. It's just because I'm a little scatterbrained sometimes and I have a lot of things going. So I'll read it and then I'll want to reply and then I'll be working on something else and I'll forget. But I do read every single comment and I take feedback to heart. So if you have something, suggestions or anything like that, I usually read them and really think about it. Somebody a little bit ago said my necks were a little bit too thin on some of my characters, and I looked back and I was like, oh yeah, that's true. So, and then I made the adjustments. Really appreciative. Also, if you guys haven't seen, I am currently working on a 200 day special-ish. I think this is going to be my last piece in it. I'm not 100% sure. I might include my next one, depending on what piece exactly that's going to be. I'm not 100% sure yet. But that is coming out hopefully by the end of this week. I have another day off tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. I'm also working on some game development stuff and some startup projects with some friends. So we'll have to see how things go. I have a lot going on in life right now, but I'll try my best to get all that content out for you guys. But anyways, back to the piece. So this was originally supposed to be just a headshot of 2B, and I was working on that, and I was pretty happy with how things were turning out, but I decided that I wasn't really pushing myself as hard as I wanted to. The whole goal of me doing art every day is that I need to start pushing myself more again. I got into that slump before. I'm not sure if you've heard. I've talked about this a few times, but I had like a month or 2 months, like really recently, where I stopped pushing myself so much, and it resulted in really bad art and me not wanting to do things anymore. I kind of got bored because I felt like I figured it out. Obviously, I haven't. But it just kind of felt like that, and it felt like there was no challenge to overcome. Of course there is, especially like I was just learning stuff. So you'll have those days. It is what it is. But I decided, hey, I need to start pushing myself again. So let's at least do some upper torso. Let's get the skeletal structure blocked out. I would explain it a lot more detail here, but I was experimenting a little bit, and I'm not sure if that's super YouTube friendly, so I had to cut out a bit of that. And by a bit, a lot. It takes me a long time to do that. But the general gist is I kind of incorporate two methods. I do the block method, where you kind of space everything out into squares and cubes. Cube is the easiest 3D object to make in any sort of art that you're doing, any sort of form. You can block that out to the general gist of your shoulders, your head, your torso, your pelvis, your legs. Well, legs are more cylinders, but you can kind of block everything out. And then once you have the general size that you want, and it helps you also see where your character is in space. I do a method of, I'd like to draw the skeletal structure. So I draw the pelvis, the rib cage. I do all of this, not super in detail, but it makes it easier to kind of put the fat and the skin and all that around the character, and the muscle. Like, I'm not doing this super accurately, of course, but it makes it look a lot better. The improvement on how my characters looked from going from just doing a box method and making them super square, to using this skeletal structure method is a lot better. I am not great at anatomy. It's very hard. So am I doing it perfect? Probably not, but we'll get better as things go on. You guys can kind of see my improvement if you look at one of my more earlier, like, full body videos or anything like that. You'll see that it's a lot more blocky and square, just because I'm not doing it by the skeletal structure and I'm not rounding things. It's just a square. But yeah, so I'm also working on folds of clothing, as you can see from here. I think it's looking a lot better. I'm focusing on finding where the clothes is pinching and turning, and that's generally where folds happen. So I'm trying to not make it look like a sporadic mess and make it actually look like, okay, this person's actually wearing these clothes. And also I'm working on hair. I'm trying to make it look a lot more 3D. Right now it's not super 3D. At the end, I do a lot more improvements on it. You'll probably see. It's still not perfect. It's something I need to work on and need to start thinking about more, just to kind of show that this character isn't a 2D image. It is a person. So that's something I also have to work on. Hair is so hard though. It is so hard to kind of do, because strands go everywhere. I'm not entirely, like, no one really knows exactly what hair can be doing at a certain point. There's just too many strands, and it can just kind of do, you can follow it like ribbons, of course, but you can easily make this too complex. If you just think about it too much, you add too much. So that's something I'm working on. Of course, with time, hopefully I will get better with all your guys' suggestions and comments in this down below. Like, I've been reading all of them, like I said, and it's really helped me improve. I also post things on my other social medias, like my Twitter and my Reddit, and I get a lot of feedback from people like that. And also just check out how to do things every once in a while. It's fun to kind of do that. But yeah, so I'm really happy with how this turned out. Honestly, it's one of my better pieces, I think, and I'm gonna keep doing this method. This one took me about 5 hours and some change, with all the times that I had to do this in like 6 different sessions. But yeah, overall it turned out pretty good. I'd like to add a little bit more detail, but at this point it's better to kind of just move on and work on my next piece and try to get better. But I'm gonna take everything I did here as like a learning experience and go from there. Also, I am working on a 200 episode, a 200 plus days of pixel art special. Not entirely sure will that be out. I'm hoping by the end of this week, or maybe even tomorrow. I doubt it though. I'm gonna have to put in a lot of hours to kind of get that done. I got the general gist of it kind of outlined, but there's a lot of images and stuff that I want to show, and my improvement over time. This is also more so for me, but I like doing capsules and time capsules, I guess, of my experience. And I look back on this, like all my videos, like you've probably seen like my 6-month special, and then my my 100-day special or whatever. I look back on them, like, even like when I remember when I first looked back on them, when I first did them, I was like, man, these are awesome. But now that I'm like this far ahead, I look back on them now and I'm like, oh my god, I have improved so much. So like I always say to you guys, if you're trying to start art or whatever you're doing, the gym, whatever you're doing, and like cooking, I don't know, keep a log of daily things that you do and let yourself see the improvement. I keep every image that I ever made in a folder, and I have it numbered specifically so I can go back and be like, what was I doing 20 days from today? Did I improve? And then I see, I'm like, oh man, I am doing so much better than what I did before. It's a huge dopamine rush, and it really keeps you wanting to do that thing. Art was really hard for me at the start. I didn't want to do it just because it was too hard. But with the support of like my friends and posting on social media and people having like really positive feedback for me, it made me want to keep going. And then I started posting YouTube videos, and then people are generally pretty positive with how I do things, even though like I know I'm not really great right now, but we're improving slowly, and it makes me really happy. And I don't look at it as a chore anymore. I look at it as, man, I can't wait to do my next piece. But anyways, that's enough yapping from me. You guys can expect that next video hopefully by the end of the week, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have done, especially with all the new subs. Honestly, it's been awesome. New subs, follows, likes, all that. It's been really awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.